Hi, and welcome to Shop Talk with Mr. Lang. This show's purpose is to show some of you the tools of the trade in working with wood. Some of which are hand tools, and some of you guys have used them in the wood shop before, and some of them are some of my favorite tools that I use when going and getting some logs and turning them into lumber. Let's get started. My first tool that I'm going to show you guys is one of the most important tools in woodworking, and it begins with the tree. The chainsaw. All right, first off, I'd like to stress the importance of safety with a chainsaw. We won't be having any of you using these at home, but it's just for demonstration purposes and making sure that you guys kind of know some of the ins and outs of a tool that is used all the time for working with wood. I'm gonna start with the power head itself. That's this portion with the motor. It's got a trigger with the gas, and it's got a handle for being able to cut. The next part is the bar, and the bar can be different sizes, which I'll show you in a minute. And then the chain. Now the chain has a brake so you can actually move it, and the brake allows it to stop moving to be a little bit safe. The sharpest part is definitely the chain. Now the size of the tree really changes the size of the chainsaw that you're using. This one is kind of a medium-sized chainsaw, medium-small, with about a 20-inch bar. And this is what I use for a lot of my jobs because it's lighter. Once you get to bigger logs, you might need a bigger bar, which can then attach, and you can have a bit of a bigger bar so that you can cut through a bigger tree. And then if you get to something bigger than that, you might need a bigger power head. This is one of my biggest ones. And then you can use much bigger bars, like so. And if the tree gets bigger than that, believe it or not, I do have a bar that big for the biggest trees there are. So this one's giant. I don't use it all that often. If I do, I gotta have another friend help me out. All right, so that's the basics of the equipment. Now let's go see the chainsaw in action. All right, so today I'm gonna take this tree down. I'm gonna drop it. It's a dead tree. I know that it's dead because I've been watching it for a while. The branches, there's absolutely no growth. I don't kill live trees. The bark is starting to come off, and because of that, I can use it for firewood. If it was a much bigger tree, I might use it for milling, but today it's gonna be used to heat my home. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do what's called a face cut. It kind of makes a little bit of a happy face or a sad face right here in the direction that I wanna drop the tree. I learned these techniques when I was working for the Forest Service in falling small trees like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a little cut right now. All right, so what I did was I just did what's called the face cut. It takes a little wedge right out of the front, and that gives this a platform for the tree to fall away in the direction that I want it to go. So there you go, that's the face cut. All right, so I'd like to show a little bit about what happened as this tree fell. As I made my face cut, it was ready. Then I started to do what's called a back cut. And as you come in with your back cut, it starts to lean a little bit. You can feel it leaning away. And then this spot right here, which you can see right in the middle, that's what's called the holding wood. And the holding wood was holding until it was too weak, and then it breaks off, and you can actually see where it failed and fell right over. Mr. Owen would really appreciate this face cut. All right, so this is what they used to use in the old days for that. It would have taken me probably an hour or two to make that cut instead of about 3 or 4 minutes. So you can see why we don't use these as much anymore, but they still totally work. But this job would be more like an all-day affair as opposed to doing it in like an hour or two. So just to let you know, that's the original chainsaw right there. The next step is going to be to cut this log into firewood length sizes. So I'm going to go through and I'll demonstrate one cut, and that's what I would do for the entire log. There's my first piece of firewood. Now it's time to split the log and make some firewood. That's one kind. The other, a little bit different, but kind of the same principle, a little safer too. I got this one for OVS, and now we're going to use it for making fires in the wood shop. All right, so the end of the wood journey is to heat at my house. Here it goes. Thanks, tree.